Happy 25. I'm really happy to be here today and talk about your self love journey in 2025 and make this really be a year about not being selfless, but becoming self devoted. How do we start becoming devoted to ourselves to really truly get the love and the life that we deeply, deeply yearn for and desire? That's what we're going to talk about today.
This podcast is going to help you learn how to stop playing small and people pleasing and overgiving and being too nice to find who you really are and to become the freest, truest, most badass version of yourself. So you can get the love, respect, and the life that you truly desire.
I hope you had a wonderful holiday, and I'd love to hear, what was your coolest Christmas present or the best thing that happened to you over the holidays? And mine was I got these really cool, they're cushionaire shoes, they're platforms, and they give me an extra 2 inches. So that's really cool and awesome to walk in. I love them. And got a four-wheeler, of course. It's been so much fun to go back behind my house and all the trails. There's miles and miles of trails. And it's just really kind of opened up this part of me that just yearns and craves adventure and wants to be free. As a kid, I lived around the woods and was able to see creeks and just explore and be one with nature. It was so wonderful to be able to find that part of myself and really just kind of go crazy and have fun. I hope your holidays were amazing too. So, how do we start to truly, deeply love ourselves, warts and all, to become self-devoted? I really believe that it's pivotal to get the love and the life that you truly, truly desire, that it has to all start with how you treat yourself, you talk to yourself, and that the choices you're making are from a place where you deeply love yourself. You're not coming from a place of fear, anxiety, or worrying about what people think. Instead, it's okay, well, what is the best for me in the situation? Okay. It's vital that we learn how to do that, how we stop being selfless. I talk a lot about people pleasing, selflessness, and how do you love yourself and self respect and all those things, because it's really about getting you the life and the love that you truly, truly want. And so many of us just settle because we're taught that, it's okay to just put up with a crappy job and a boring relationship and it can't get any better. But that's a freaking lie. That is not true. It can get better when you truly start to embrace what works for you, what's right for you, and stop caring, giving a shit what other people think, and just start putting yourself first. Start pleasing yourself first. Women are trained to please and give. Okay. We're trained to be selfless. And what are men trained to be? Powerful. Okay. But you can still show up as a powerful person and be feminine. You can be powerful as a woman without being a bitch. When we can learn to change that up instead of, okay, well, I'm going to get value for making other people happy and feel good about myself by pleasing everyone and taking care of everyone. Instead, I can start to please myself first. And that will change everything when self-love becomes the foundation for your life and self-respect. It will immediately change how you interact, how you show up, and the choices you're making, so that this year can really be about putting yourself first to get what you want. That's the thing. You're not going to get what you want if you're not putting yourself first. Okay. Because there's two paths. You can either be putting yourself first or you can put others first. If you're putting others first, you're not going to get what you want. Your life isn't going to feel good. Selflessness means you don't have a self. When you say, okay, no, I'm going to put me first and what I want and what feels good to me. And what do I truly, really want? And most of us can't even answer that question. What do you really, really want? What do you want? What are the desires calling out from inside of your soul that you're yearning for? Okay. Those aren't going to be possible. It's not even possible to even listen to those when we're so focused on other people. Our eyeballs are on them because we've been taught that we have to please. And that's just what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to please and take care of everyone and put everyone first. That's just going to make you feel exhausted, burnt out, and settle for everything and think, well, this is the way it's supposed to be. This is how my mom did it. This is how my grandma did it. I don't want to upset people. I don't want them angry with me. I don't want to disappoint people. But here's the thing. If you're not disappointing others, you're going to be disappointing yourself because eventually you got to fucking say no. You're going to have to say no. So when we shift from being selfless to self-devoted on this self-love journey, it's going to piss some people off. And hey, that's okay. You have to think of it, that's their problem. What helped me and was really transformational, I had the anxious attachments. You have this inner wound inside of you. And in relationships, you're so afraid of upsetting them that you can't speak up, you can't say no, and you show up pleasing and giving. Okay. So I noticed this is when I would get close to others and then I couldn't really say what I wanted or what I needed because I had a belief, well, if I really speak up, they're going to leave. And when I decided, okay, no, this is my life. How do I want to live it? And I don't want to live it constantly sacrificing myself and putting everyone first. And I feel exhausted and burned out. Like this is actually hurting me on every single level, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all that. What helped me that was vital was saying to myself, what other people think is none of my business. What other people feel about me is none of my business, which gave me this beautiful detachment. So I didn't care. So now I truly don't. I care now about what my loved one thinks, but I don't care about someone walking by me on the sidewalk or someone looking in my car. Isn't that the funniest thing? It's so funny. Okay, when you're driving down the road and you look in someone else's windows and they see you, they're just like, they look all violated. It's freaking hilarious. Try it. That's so interesting to do that. The next time you're driving, look in someone else's car. I'm the crazy person driving and singing. I'll just be dancing in my car, having like the time of my life. So you can either be putting yourself first or other people first. If you're putting other people first, you're devoted to them and their happiness and their comfort. Okay. But who's taking care of you? Nobody, because it's your job to take care of you. It's either them or you. That's how you have to think of it. And using that phrase to yourself, well, what they think about me is none of my business, is going to give you that beautiful detachment you need so that you can become self-devoted and give up the selflessness that isn't serving you. Like when you take a step back and look at your life and all the areas, let's pick one. Let's pick one area. So you have your partner or your love life, your family, your friends, your work, and ask yourself this: is how I'm showing up every day serving me? Is it making me feel good? Is it accomplishing my goals? Do I feel good about myself? Or does it feel like I'm burnt out, exhausted, tired, and done, and I'm just sick of it? Okay, if you feel frustrated and angry in that area, you're probably not setting boundaries. That's what I noticed in my life when I started getting frustrated. And it's like, well, God, I needed to be saying no more. I needed to be devoted to myself instead of trying to understand everyone all the time and where they're coming from. Who gives a shit? If I'm not looking out for me, nobody else is going to be. So that shift from selflessness to becoming self-devoted truly does take some time, because we really have been trained and conditioned as women to show up that way and to not upset other people. But you're not going to be happy. It's just going to lead you to being exhausted, burnt out, doing everything and giving everything, and then feeling empty all the time. That does not feel good. Nothing good comes from being selfless 24/7 all day, every day. Okay. If you're already taking care of yourself and you're devoted to yourself and you do a kind act, which is selfless, yes, that's good. What I'm talking about is how you're showing up every day, all day, run yourself into the ground, being exhausted, tired, and done, and fed up. That, living that way, nurturing others and under nurturing yourself. That's what I'm talking about. So how do you shift that from putting other people first to putting yourself first so that you can get what you really, really, really want? I would encourage you to just take a step back and look at that one area in your life and just see how it's working out for you. And that shows you if how you're showing up is actually serving you. Let's recap. Being selfless means you don't have a self. Okay. You're either putting yourself first or you're putting other people first. You cannot do both. And you'll end up just feeling exhausted, burnt out. You're doing everything. You're tired. You're fed up. Okay. Selflessness as a way of life is not serving you. It will never serve you. Being selfless serves others. That's how you were trained and conditioned to be because a person who was your teacher or your authority figure or your parent was teaching you to be that way because it was serving them. It was making your life easier. Think about it. A compliant child or a difficult child who always speaks up. But then how you were raised is going to determine how you show up as an adult. If you weren't allowed to say no, if you weren't allowed to express yourself, if you felt like anytime you were unhappy as a kid, like you had to hide that, you had to hide your feelings because you would get in trouble, then that's exactly how you're going to show up as an adult. Unless you're able to see that it's not serving you, and then you can catch yourself and in the moment make a different choice. And it's going to be scary as hell. But in order to get the life and the love that you want, it means switching from being devoted to others, pleasing them, making them happy, putting your comfort first, to actually truly pleasing yourself and asking yourself, is this serving me? Is this making me feel good? Is this getting me what I want? And it's just not about feeling good in the moment. You have to think about, is this feeling good overall? Like, for instance, let's you wanted to wake up at 5:30 every in the morning and you want to start jogging. No, it's not going to feel good to wake up every day and jog. But over time, that's going to improve your life. So it's not just about what feels good in the moment. It's like what's really good for you. And then in the moment, being able to say, notice how maybe a habit or a choice isn't serving you because of how it's repeatedly making you feel. So a lot of the good changes we need to make doesn't feel good in the moment, but we know internally, inside, our intuition is saying this isn't right. We need to speak up. We need to do something about it. Becoming self-devoted, whoo, it can truly be a challenge. That's why you have awesome coaches like me. If you're ready to get the love and the amazing relationship that you dream of, then check out below. I have a guide for you. Okay. It is free. It is my gift to you. You don't have to settle. You don't have to be okay with just being like everyone else. Okay. You also have all these free resources. I go live every single week almost to really help you get that self love, own your worth and your value as who you are without having to do anything. Like when you're just sitting there doing nothing, just being, you don't have to think, you don't have to do anything. You don't worry about your to-do list if other people are happy with you, right? It's just being, existing, you know? How do you feel? Like, do you truly feel valuable and priceless just being, doing nothing? That's the goal, to truly feel priceless, doing absolutely nothing, just being whoever you are.
You can become the badass you've always wanted to be, punch fear in the face, and live life on your own terms. Till next time.